How's it going, everyone? My name's Markomatical, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. You see, I'd already finished up this video beforehand, around 30 minutes of editing went into this. A lot of passion went into this, I had many clips of some fun things that happened, which are actually lost now because for some reason I deleted them after I finished up. But, yeah, you see, I wasn't really liking how it was going. A lot of stuff's changed since then, and I feel that the video is just too old for me to post. Like, a lot of stuff has changed since then, and the devs have fixed a lot of things that I actually complained about in the original video. So, one notable example was move stacking. You're no longer allowed to move stack. It's a bannable offense now. So that's actually fixed up the PDs lately. So honestly, I'm gonna be reevaluating my opinion on this game. Everything before has been thrown out. Funny thing, I'm doing this without a script, unlike the first video, so it's going to be a little bit more natural, but it's going to be a little bit more all over the place. Another reason why I'm redoing my opinion is mostly because I actually received specs. Now, they're like mass-produced specs. I'm in this thing called the Land of Iron. So basically, my Kenjutsu is a lot stronger than normal people's, and that applies to anyone in the Land of Iron, but there's only supposed to be a limited amount of us, so, to keep it balanced. And, with that, I've gotten, like, an outsider's view on this game. Usually, a person's view on this game is limited to their own village, but because of my position in the Land of Iron, we just kind of, like, drift around, and we just kind of hang out in every village. So I've gotten, like, a view of nearly every village, except for Mist. I don't think they like me very much. And I was able to form a much better opinion, a lot less bias in this game. So, to answer the question in the title, should you play Shinobi Project? Yeah. The game is a lot better. It's in a lot better state now than it originally was, and the devs are really trying hard to make it a lot more of a fun experience for the players. They're getting an actual lore team down instead of making the admins do everything. And that lore team is working hard, although it's a little bit questionable what they're doing. But yeah, you can tell they're working hard. Specs aren't as unbalanced as they used to be. I think that's mostly because they're really cracking down on what Kages can and can't do. So the freaking Tsujikage can't just appear in a random PD, slaughter your entire village, and then say "oops, misclick" or something like that. They're really cracking down on what spec users can and can't do, and I think that makes it more fun for the average player. Of course, it's like less fun for spec users, but they can also one-shot everybody they come across, so I doubt it really matters. The game has also started cracking down on a lot of unfair mechanics that were originally in the game in the first place. One thing I mentioned before was in my previous review was move stacking. Move stacking in the previous game was a lot. It was way too much. Like, let me show you an example of move stacking right here. Move stacking used to be like, I can use this move, and then I can immediately use this one, and then this one, and then this one. That's a bannable offense right now. But I wasn't using it against anyone. It's not a PD, so don't worry. I'm not going to suddenly stop making videos in this game. But the thing is, when you do that now, you can get removed from the game. Of course, you're not going to be like, insta-ban, perma-ban, you can never play the game again. It's probably just like warning 1, wipe your character, don't do that again, you've been warned, stuff like that. That's another thing I gotta mention. The head department is a lot less harsh than it used to be. In the past, it would have been like you make one slip up and you're banned instantly, you can never play the game again. And I think after they received a bunch of complaints, they've started softening up, and honestly, it's made the game a lot more enjoyable. You don't have to constantly worry about messing up and, having someone, like, breathe down your neck, like, ooh, you did this 3 times, die. It's a lot more enjoyable knowing you can make mistakes and not be, have your balls cut off for it. And that's another thing with mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes, the devs make mistakes, the head department make mistakes, but the thing is, those mistakes they made in the past, they're working on it, and like I'm trying to make this a segue into clan specs. Clan specs are this. You see me using that sometimes, and maybe if I introduce some clips, although I doubt I will. Clan specs have been what's it called? They've been like they've been trying to balance it lately. Like they've been trying really hard to balance it, and honestly, they're in a lot better state than they were before. Now, like, of course, there's still some stupid things, like, what's called Hyuga's freaking, taking everything from you, literally everything, your health, your chakra, your soul, your firstborn child, everything. And then you got, you got Karatachi's doing one flame breath, and then suddenly, you're trapped in it, you're dead, like, you can't leave. But they're, like, those are just the outliers, And in a game like this, even though outliers are pretty intense, the fact that they're trying to work on it for the better of the community instead of just working on it for themselves like they used to, you can tell they've improved. They've hired some people who actually care about the game, from the actual player base, and I can tell that there's a clear change in direction of where they're going, and that change is for the better. As for lore right now, as I said before, is kind of in a weird state. Like they hired an actual lore team to actually a non-biased lore team that isn't a part of the player base, that isn't a part of head department, that can actually formulate a lore that actually makes sense. Not just having rogues come to every PD and murder like 15 children, and then it can say just another day in Shinobi World. That's not fun. That's boring. That's just killing for the sake of plot progression. It's like a bad anime. But the lore team has been trying to do something cool. They've been doing something mysterious lately, and they had like a meteor come down at one point. Some guys are leaking goo. The Shogun, which of the Land of Iron, which I mentioned before, he was killed, but beforehand he had like cancer. I'm not making this up. He had cancer, so there's a cancer plot line. That was funny. But yeah, lore team's trying their hardest right now, and honestly, right now would be the best time to get in. Make a stable for yourself, make a name for yourself, and honestly, it would I think you would enjoy the game a lot if you tried it out right now. That's pretty much all I have, and I'm just gonna dedicate the rest of the rest of this video to fight scenes. Me just surviving, attacking people, not attacking people, but challenging me to duels, and just so you can get a feel of the combat. Alright. Peace. Oh, but they gotta re-add inventory saving, because that's kind of annoying, no cap.